Hello, 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 and welcome to Lunchtime with Dr. Nadine and our special guest. I am so excited to bring this lady on today because I know that she has a wealth of information that is going to transform your life. And so our guest today is joining us from St. Lucia, but she's actually a Dominican, which is our neighbors. And I mean, I used to call Dominica, like my second home, although I already have two homes, Barbados and St. Lucia, but Dominica is like home for us. And so Genitta is an inspirational mindset shifter. She's also the director and founder of G.P.A. Inc., and she holds a bachelor's degree in human resource management and M.B.A. in that focuses on leadership and innovation. She has a certificate in transformational leadership for sustainable development. This is a woman who's doing a lot. And so she marries these three to develop methods and practices that allows her to help others to make these mindset shifts using her own story, her personal journeys, etc. And so we're excited to have you here. And right before I just allow Janita to tell you a little more about herself, just let us know in the chat, where are you joining us from today? Where are you joining us from today? Let us know in the chat. So, Janita, welcome to Lunchtime with Dr. Nadine and our guests who are joining us. You are the featured guest, but we have others who are joining us from all over the world. Welcome. Lovely to have you here.
Thank you for having me today on this wonderful Tuesday.
Yes. So, can you just tell our viewers just a little bit about yourself? They maybe want to know, I read your official bio, but they may want to know just a little more about you.
So, like Dr. Collins said, I am Genitta Pascal. I was born in the Commonwealth of Dominica and I moved to St. Lucia at age 8 after my recovering from cancer, as I am a childhood cancer survivor. So, after surviving cancer and recovering and doing all of that, getting free treatment compliments the government of Dominica and Trinidad and Tobago. My treatment was actually in Trinidad. And I
Mm.
continue to thank everyone who rallied around me, including Dr. Ibagre, who was a Nigerian doctor who sourced funding so that I could, with together with the government of Dominica and Trinidad, so that I could have a home or a new space at the hospital in Trinidad. So after my recovery, my mother and I, we moved to St. Lucia, which I call my new home, the Helen of the West Indies. So this is a little bit about my story, and this is really the core story that shifted my mindset.
Awesome. I'm so excited to have you here. We have Tisha Maria joining us from Houston. Ladies, let us know in the chat. We just want to know who's having lunch with us. That's just it. We're excited that you're here. We want to know where you're joining us from. And so, Janita, thank you so much for giving us that. I just learned some other stuff today as you just introduced yourself. And so I'm so excited that our paths were able to cross. And so you gave us some of your background from eight moving to St. Lucia, having getting treatment in Trinidad. It seems you're already a global citizen because you're born in Dominica, you're in St. Lucia, you were in Trinidad, you received treatment and help from somebody like a doctor in Nigeria. I mean, come on, you are a global citizen, and we're so excited that you're here with us. So talk to me a little about what brought you into my world.
Well, what brought me into your world was basically I was on a roller coaster ride, and I felt like I had to go back to the drawing board, or I just probably had to quit on myself.
Mm.
And I told you before, I continued to stalk your page, and I said there was a spirit leading me to Dr. Collins, because when we look at Dr. Collins' work, we see amazing stuff. People are inspired. Many people gravitate towards her. But the experience really comes in when you get to work with Dr. Collins and experience her for yourself. And I was just so happy that I was able to gravitate towards you, send that message. I know that maybe I was a little bit much on our first consultation call, but I was just so happy that the spirit led me to you, and for your guidance and for the work that we were able to get out of the speaker mentorship program.
Yeah, it was really an honor working with you. For me, you were not much. You're a woman who are about business. you were already doing amazing things. So it's not like you came in empty handed. You were already doing amazing things. You already had a presence on social media. You were already doing a lot, because when I went in to check what you were doing, I mean, this was a woman already on a mission. So talk to us a little bit about how would you, already a successful lady, I know you said you felt as if you had to either go back to the drawing board or just quit. I'm happy that you did not quit. And I'm happy that we're able to just do some other stuff that we're going to share with our listeners and viewers today. But what would bring a successful woman like you into the speaker mentorship program?
Well, I think sometimes, and I think acceptance and admitting that sometimes we really need to reach out and find the help that we really deserve to see that type of transformation in our lives. And for me, I felt like I was posting, some people were messaging me, they were saying, "Oh, I'm inspired." I think one lady even called because I really stopped posting, even when I thought that the message was, for me, I thought the message was clear. And she called and she said, "You don't post anymore?" Because sometimes on my down days I would really go to your page, and I said, "But people are not connecting, and people are not really, yes, they read the message and they like maybe sometimes for the images, but I really want them to get the message, connect with the message, and hopefully something in there can inspire them." And I felt like on my own, I was
Mm-hmm.
not achieving that. And I know that we went through the speaker mentorship program, and you layered everything layer by layer. And that is when I got to understand what really I should, clarity is king, what
Mm-hmm.
really I should focus on, and where I should zero in on to ensure that the messaging is clear.
Yes, I love it. Really, like how you just lay out there, it's really about that clear messaging. So I really get why you came, because you were doing stuff, and that happens to so many people. I cannot even tell you the number of women I am so concerned about as I see their content. I'm like, man, what is your focus? I've literally reached out to a few and say, what is it you really want to focus on? Because you're speaking about this and speaking about it and speaking about this, and it's like nobody is thinking about you as an expert, because you're touching on so many different topics all the time. And so I'm happy that you recognize, as you said, acceptance. You recognize, hey, I need to really focus more. I need to be able to connect with my audience more. Now, one of the things I just wrote here as you were speaking is, when we spoke the first time, you told me that I have other people in front and I'm behind the scenes.
Ah, right.
What happened to you? Is there a shift now? Because to me, I see a greater presence. But talk to us about what shift happened to you, because you went from behind the scenes, but now that you have clarity on your message, you're no longer behind the scenes. What was that like for you?
Well, like I said in our consultation call, I continue to hide behind the scenes. Again, my challenges, my cancer story. I always thought that though the story and sharing my story would impact someone and inspire someone, within myself, I felt that that was my greatest weakness. As a
Wow.
kid, being pulled out of school, not coming from a poor and vulnerable home, family, I felt like I didn't want this to be a pity party, and I didn't want to continue to have people feel sorry for me. But I think I needed to shift my mindset and realize that that story can actually, once the messaging is clear,
Mhm,
that story can actually impact individuals in a way that I would never imagine.
mhm.
So that is what I needed to go back to realize. And now I'm using myself, sometimes I see as a sacrificial lamb. But now that I'm using the story, I see people gravitating not only towards me, but towards the story. I remember
Mm,
when we were recording the story that you asked me to record, the cameraman was crying, everyone in the room was crying, and he said, "I was just so touched, and some things resonate with me." So now I know that I needed to come out from behind the curtains and really carry the message with me.
wow. And the irony is, the very thing that you were shying away from and thing that made you look weak is actually your greatest strength.
Right.
It's actually the bigger part of your story. And that's what I believe, and why I like layered, how you said it, how I layer everything in the speaker program, because I think a lot of times what we run from. And I always think that a lot of what we women sit on, we may take our hands and put it under us, and we're trying to hide something. But the thing that we're hiding, it's literally what we need to give us the success that we actually need. So most of us are hiding behind it. And for you, there was a lot of that. I prefer not to be in the front. I prefer other people to be there. And you were thinking that that thing would make you weak. And now we went through the program, worked on your story, really had to go back into your life, your childhood. And I really appreciated your generosity in sharing and in going deep without shame. What was it like for you to just go back digging through
Well,
that?
that was really an emotional moment. It was a very emotional experience. But looking back at my childhood and just looking at all that I was able to overcome in that experience, I knew that even as I put in the work and it was emotional, and some days I was like, do I really have to write this? Can I maybe change the words or write somebody else's story? But I realized that not only for myself, but many kids impacted by cancer, other
Mhm.
individuals impacted by other challenges that they might not be willing to share and willing to speak about, that if I go forward and share my story and share the experience and put in the work to share the experience, then other people will be able to let go, share the experience, and just go with the flow and enjoy the life that God created for us. So
Yeah, and the truth is, I have great admiration for you for a number of reasons. And part of it is not only did you, I mean, as a successful businesswoman, say, listen, this thing is not going the way I want it to go. I need to do better. And have no shame in, okay, I need to get help. Because a lot of times as women, we struggle, especially when we want to do something great. We're not realizing I may not have the tools, the skills, the foresight to get there. I need help. And so that's one thing. Then the other thing is you were not ashamed to go into your story because you were in a group setting and you were liberally sharing what it was like. And the thing is, what I think you thought might be something that was shameful showed your ability to be resilient. Because as I think of your story and you being pulled out of school at an early age because you're sick and you're being made fun of by kids, and yet you never gave up on yourself. What was happening in your mind as a young woman going through so much adversity, and yet, and I say young woman, I mean a girl, you
right,
know, a girl, because this is happening to you prior to age 8.
right.
And this is you probably with all your hair out,
Out.
very skinny girl, being made fun of, bullied, etc. And yet you kept pushing. What was happening in your mind? Because you're the mindset shifter. So something must have been going on, even in that young mind of yours. What was happening?
Oh yes, for me, I just always knew that I had to be somebody one day. I didn't know what I would be. I didn't know what direction I would take. But as you mentioned this, I think I mentioned this in the story as well. During my cancer treatment, I was graduating from, I think it was preschool,
Mhm.
and the doctor said that they could only pull me away for an hour, and I had to return to my private room at the hospital. And I crossed the stage, and they would ask its student, what do you want to be when you grow up? And even with no hair, bald headed, my graduation gown, I said that I wanted to be a nurse.
Mhm.
And for me, the nurses at the institution in Dominica and Trinidad, they really inspired me. And to see them working under pressure, because I was one of two children who were put in that private room,
Mhm.
because it was almost as if we were cast away. But those nurses, they came in every day and they believed in me. So I was like, if they believe in me, I mean, it only makes sense that I also believe in myself and know that I need to be resilient and I need to shift my mindset and know that cancer cannot define me. And
Mhm.
come what may, I will become somebody one day. And that
Amen.
is what kept me pushing to see. And I continue to say it's who you align with and the types of people you have around you. So
Mhm.
even when sometimes you think that I don't want it for myself or I can't do it, we have Dr. Collins behind us. We have those nurses behind us as well.
Mhm.
It's the type of people we also align with.
Yeah, I mean, that's so inspirational because I mean, this is you as a child thinking and observing and recognizing that other people are believing in me, so I need to believe in myself. And so that same attitude is what you're carrying through even into your adult life because you're getting the help. Just as you had the nurses helping you, you're also putting in the work mindset first,
Right.
to really become. I just want to just acknowledge, yeah, we have Maren joining us from St. Lucia. We have some from Texas. Sometimes based on the platform that you're joining us from, we're not able to see your name. And so I know we have somebody joining us from Texas. We also have Rena joining us from St. Lucia, cheering you on. I think she was in your cohort. We have somebody from Barbados. We have Avril there joining us from Georgia. And Maren is saying, I yes, I only now realize some of our weakest moments are actually the genesis of strength if we examine it with guided counsel. Awesome. We have Henderson joining us from France. We have Ellen joining us from Tobago. We have Niceta joining us from Turks and Caicos. We have the world here listening to and being inspired by your story. And what Marin said is so true. And that is what I recognized while working with you, that you are a powerhouse all by yourself, and this powerhouse need to stop hiding behind the scenes, putting people in front, because you have a powerful story. And I was just excited to work with you to help you just go dig, go digging into that story, because I'm sure and that was not the direction that you wanted to take. You were
Right.
just about a message that needs to be clear, so I can, but I'm like, but we have a story, a powerful story of resilience, a powerful story of a little girl who defied so many odds because she had this big idea in her mind for herself. So,
Right.
what would you say was your biggest breakthrough while you were in the speaker program?
Well, again, you mentioned it. My biggest breakthrough was just being able to change the narrative
Mm,
and just be a little more focused, a little more direct, and ensure that the message is clear. And
mhm,
with that, I one of my biggest breakthroughs were coming out from behind the curtain and putting myself again right there up there with the message and
mhm,
ensuring that even as I ensure that whatever message as it relates to mindset shifting is clear, that I also use myself as the example, because cancer wasn't the only challenge. And there
mhm,
are many challenges that I continue to speak about via our
mhm,
blog. If you read the blogs on the website, that many other people can connect to. So
mhm.
coming out from behind the curtains and really sharing those stories and connecting the core message to the message, our message, mindset shifting was really my biggest breakthrough. And staying, I remember you just spoke about that, staying focused and staying and communicating as it relates to the message. So that was my
Awesome.
biggest breakthrough.
Awesome. So come out from behind the curtain and just be you. And I really like that you're doing it. You're doing a lot. But I see a shift is taking place, not just in your mindset, but in your business. Talk to us about that, because I mean, I just be proud, just I don't want to say it. You talk about what's happening. You're doing big things.
Well, before I came into the program, I was thinking about relaunching or revisited entirely how we conduct business at GPA Inc. And then
Mhm.
I said, no, I'm not going to, I'm just going to sit on it, because I know if I go in and I do something wrong, Dr. Collins is going to say, but why did you put this there and not here? So I said, let me go for the program, let me take my time. And after the program is done, I'm going to go back to the drawing board with GPA Inc.
Mhm.
So with that, we were able to remove all of the other factors that was not connecting to the message and just
Mm.
revamp everything entirely. So,
Awesome. Total rebrand.
oh yes,
Revamping of the brand. And I mean, it is amazing to see what you've done. And it was a very smart decision to wait
correct.
until after the program, because sometimes we're very quick to just take the steps, but then the process we were going through in the speaker program would help you to have everything that you need now for the rebrand that looks amazing. You just told me something about your mom before we came on live, and I was like, what? So, how did your mom feel? How did others feel about what's happened with you?
So when I signed on to the program, yes, when we did the consultation call, I was at home with my mother, and she said, "You're always doing something. What are you doing?" So I said, "Just be quiet because I'm going into a meeting with Dr. Collins." And she said, "Okay, if it's live, you will let me know." I told her it's not live. So I came out of the meeting and I told her I'm signing up for this program. She said, "Well, you're always doing something." So I said, "But you have to wait. When it's done, you will see how everything is going to come together." So she's asking, "Are you going live? Are you posting anything?" And I'm like, "I told you, you have to wait for when the thing is over." So when it was over and we posted the first um post on Facebook, she went on and she said, "So that's what you were doing?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Now I see what Dr. Collins was saying." She said it was a total different message, it was a total different look, and now everything is clear. So now I understand why you were so focused and you didn't want anybody to disturb you. I told her because I had to do my homework, the
Yeah.
runway coaching program, the speaker mentorship program, and all the little courses that you created for us as it relates to branding and marketing. So I took all my notes, I would spend my quiet time. And she said, "Now I see what Dr. Collins was doing with you."
So she approves.
Oh, yes, she approves.
If mama approves, we're good to go. We're good to go. Yes, I'm happy that she approves. I'm happy that she sees what you were doing and how. So what was it like just doing that whole rebrand? Because now, I mean, we did the photo shoot and everything, and the colors are popping, and I see this and that. I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. How does it feel now to truly have your brand truly represent you and your message without shame?
So that feels it is really like a free moment. Like I
Mhm.
feel free, and even the guy who worked on the website developer, I know that he is on here and he's watching. I told him to keep all the comments to himself.
Ah,
So maybe
what's his
he might share.
name?
Maybe he might share. His name is Kurt Augustine, and he it was the website developer on the
Okay, I'm
program.
just looking to see if I see him there.
And I think he can tell you that I really gave him a headache. I was at his desk every minute. Because did we do this? Did we do this? I think I was nervous throughout the entire process, but now that I saw that it came together, your work and the work that Kurt did on the website, and how everything came together, it's just like it's a free moment. I go over there sometimes and I say, "Look at my work."
Oh, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Yes. We have Dion joining us from Georgia. I was just checking to see if he's here. But listen, Janita, you are a delight to work with, and also a delight to really just see how you've grown, because it's like you were doing great things and now you just went next level. And I also admire your commitment, because even during the program you were traveling. I remember you were in Scotland,
Right.
London, and you will still come on. Even though you're running your business, you will still be doing the work. I never had to be after you and say, okay, do this. You would get it done, and you always did a great job. So you spoke about recording your story, which is one of the requirements we have in the program, that as we work on that signature message, we record it. You said that it was a emotional experience.
Oh, yes, it was.
Talk to us about that.
So I wrote this story. Dr. Collins went over the story, and I also had Mr. Robinson um, just edit the story for me one last time before I go into the room. And I read the story. I was very confident. I said, "You know what? This is my story. I own it. I'm not going to cry." So that's what I told myself. So I went, we did everything. I was set up and I was in front of the camera ready to go. And I started to read, "I'm Genitta Pascal, XYZ." And the cameraman said, "No, no, 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 no. Where is the emotion?" I said,
Yes.
"Okay." I said, "Okay, I'm going to give you some emotion." I think when I spoke about being pulled out of school,
Mhm.
cry me a river. I was like, I didn't bring any extra makeup. I didn't bring. I was like, "Why did you have to do this to me?" And then he was like, "I wanted to cry, but I didn't show you. I don't want to show you that I was so emotional. But now
Mhm.
that you're crying, I can just take the moment to share with you." And Sant, I'm never going to forgive Sant for making me cry, but he really brought this story out of me, and I want to thank him for doing that, because otherwise I think I would just stand in front of the teleprompter and read the story to everyone. So I was happy that he was able to get the emotions out of me so that I can better connect when telling the
I
story.
love it. I love it. That's a good thing because remember, we spoke about the emotional connection. In
Right.
order for you to be able to connect with the audience, I mean, you need to. So, we're not saying go and cry a river out there, but what we're saying is we cannot just go and just read the story because then how are we going to, connect with people who are going through? So, I'm happy that he was in the room and helped you to connect with that side. That's beautiful. So you're out there doing mindset shifting stuff.
Right.
Talk to us about what does that look like? Because you developed an Opal code. What does that look like? Because we need to know that there are folks out there who need you. What are you doing and why do they need you?
Okay, so coming out of the speaker mentorship program, I was able to, along with the Opal Code, create a few courses: Mastering Self Love, Unleash Your Dreams, and Decoding and Recoding for Mindset Shift. But the Opal Code is really the signature program.
Mhm,
And this program allows individuals, women between the ages of 25 to 50, to really focus on that core challenge that
mhm.
had that allowed them to stay stuck and stagnant in that uncomfortable space for far too long.
Right.
So we go into the program, you identify your core challenge, and
Mm,
we work with you. There are different individuals who come into the program. We have guest speakers who come into the program to work with you as you really uncover that story and
mhm,
go in deep, like Dr. Collins did with us. Go in deep and really connect to why you are showing up in the world the way you are showing up. What
mhm,
is preventing you from accomplishing the things that you are supposed, or the things you are passionate about? And
mhm,
sometimes, like myself, I use myself again, I say, as a sacrificial lamb, because I knew that there were some things that I needed to change in my life,
mhm,
but I did not know what that core challenge was. Or
mhm,
maybe I knew, but I did not accept that this
mhm,
was the core challenge and this was what was creating the block. And it was not until I was able to find that breakthrough and with Dr. Collins and just realize that I needed to just move over that building block and address the challenge head on, that I
mhm.
would be able to now shift my mindset, overcome those challenges, and become that individual that I always dreamt of becoming. So this is the type of work that we do in the Opal Code.
Awesome. I love it because your story, again, it's as if you're already an adult doing amazing things, but at the same time, the breakthrough that you needed was you simply accepting that my story, my background, what I've been through is actually what's going to position me to actually be more effective in my business. And a lot of times I think we don't make the connection. We're thinking, business is business and this personal is personal, but you were able to recognize, and that's what we did in the speaker program, was my story of resilience, my story of becoming. I mean, where you started and where you are now. And I would love people to be able to share, to hear your story. And I know you must have it already uploaded on your YouTube channel, right? So we want to drop the YouTube link for people to be able to go in. I'm going to just put your YouTube because I want them to go listen to that story. We don't want to make you cry, but probably you will cry. All right. And so I'm going to just put her YouTube handle there so that you could actually get it, Genitta Pascal. So check her out on YouTube. You want to hear that story because it might just push you to just be able to face your story. So, Genitta, where can women find you? Because you're helping women make these mindset shifts, getting out from that place. You're stuck, get out of that place of being stuck. And also getting out of your own way because you are already doing great things, but the barrier was a simple thing to take down. And once you took that down, more things are possible. You have a whole new brand that is rebranded, revamped, and you just so focused on the mindset shifting. So where can these women find you?
So you can find me on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and YouTube at
Okay.
Genitta Pascal.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also find me via email. You can also reach me via email at info@gpitalia.org. And
Mm-hmm.
you can also connect with us via the website at www.gpitalia.org.
Awesome. So you want to connect with Genitta because If you're stuck, if you're allowing things, you may not even know what it is to just stand in your way. Or you see, the thing is, so many of us, we're doing things and we're not realizing, hey, I have this block. And sometimes the block is just me, and just what I'm thinking. And so if you really need that mindset shift, because Genitta is out there, Genitta, just tell us, like, quickly, like, exactly the woman that you need right now. We know the age group of them you're working with. You said about them being unstuck. Make a final appeal to a woman who may need your help to really get to that next level of a life using your Opal code method.
Okay, so like I said again, the Opal Code is really the signature program that allows women between the ages of 25 to 50 who were impacted or is still being impacted by significant challenges in their life to help
Mhm,
them to really connect with that challenge, use that challenge as their greatest motivator so that they can shift their mindset and see that that challenge isn't who you are, and
mhm,
that challenge shouldn't define that person that you are trying to show up as, because
mhm,
sometimes that challenge can get in your way, and all you see yourself as, you wake up every day and you feel down and you look down, you show up and people are trying to connect with you, opportunities present themselves and nothing is sticking because all you see when you wake up every day is that challenge, and it is creating that block between who you can become. So it
mhm.
is really helping you to shift your mindset and overcome those challenges to become that individual, that powerhouse individual that you can become.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Genitta, for spending time with us here today.
Oh my
Thank you
God.
for sharing your story. Thank you for all of the people, your mom, the guys who were there with you filming, who worked with you on your website, who've just helped you just get to that next level of you. And I continue to just look forward to the woman that you're becoming and what you will continue to do as you help women shift their mindset, as you serve as an inspirational mindset shifter. Ladies, we want to see you here tomorrow one more time. We're going to be here for the rest of the week at 12 noon to 12:30 EST. We'll be featuring another lady tomorrow. And just in case you want to be able to get to that next level, you want to begin to share your story, you want to become a speaker and so on, we're enrolling. We're on the tail end of enrolling women in our cohort 5 that begins on December 7th. So you can reach out to me if you want to, really launch your speaking platform. But if you need mindset shifting, you know the woman you need to go to. She's doing great things out there. And so, Genitta, continued blessings on the work that you do. And viewers, we'll see you tomorrow again at 12 noon EST.
Thank you.